Hello, this is J83 and this is a new video about my F1 2017 prediction video on where different teams will finish in the Constructors Championship next season, based on like driver lineup and other things like that, development, money, finances and all sort of things. So first of all we've got Sauber, who it's hard to see where they're going to go really, because they only got investment in like July I think it was, and relative to Manor, who've been developing their car from the beginning of the 2016 season, they just will be behind on development, and their driver lineup is very weak compared to other teams, because Ericsson is confirmed who isn't a very good driver, and the other one will probably be Felipe Nasr. If it isn't, it'll be someone like Gutierrez or Maldonado, who are probably worse, especially worse than Manor. So I don't see Sauber doing anything very much in 2017. They'll probably get a few points here and there, but I reckon they'll be last in the Constructors Championship. And that brings me on to the team I think will finish 10th, which is the Manor Racing team, which is, yeah, they'll make progress, but not too much. They've got better staff. They've got like Dave Ryan, Pat Fry in their staff, so I reckon they're decent. They've been developing their car since the beginning of the season. They've got Verline and Ocon, who are both, no they haven't actually, they've got Verline and someone else who hasn't been confirmed yet, but Verline's good. I imagine he'll stay, because I am recording this before Mercedes have confirmed their second driver, but it looks like it's more than likely going to be a Bottas, so Verline's quite likely going to stay at Manor next season, which is good for them. It might not be good for him, but he's a very good driver to have in their team. So yeah, they'll make a bit of progress, get a few points here and there, probably not much more than that, but it'll be a strong season for them, I reckon. The next team I've got is the Haas F1 Team, and sort of for the same reason as Sauber, their finances aren't amazing. Obviously they're not a works team, they're an independent, so it's going to be difficult for them anyway. But they've only really got, well actually they've got a very exciting driver lineup in Grosjean and Magnussen, which is quite promising for them, because I rate both of them drivers quite a lot. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. But yeah, I just don't think their car will be very good. We saw by the end of the 2016 season that they kept suffering from mechanical problems, especially with the brakes, I think. So it will be difficult for them to really make a load of progress, rather than just fixing up their car. And they haven't really been developing next season's car for very long, I don't think. So yeah, Haas is the next team, which takes me on to 8th place in the championship, which I think will be Toro Rosso. And again, they're always just there, aren't they? They're a difficult one to predict really, because they're always good, but then don't really develop their car very much. So I reckon they'll finish 8th ahead of Haas. But Sainz and Kvyat are good drivers. I reckon Sainz is a cut above Kvyat, to be honest. But yeah, they're all right. They'll do a good job for a season. It's not really much, like, they don't really get very far into the season, because they normally get outdeveloped by other cars, as we saw this season. They were battling Renaults by the end, whereas at the start they were faster than the Red Bulls. So yeah, 2017, 8th place, I think that'll be good for them. Next I've got quite a bold prediction, which is the Williams F1 team, because they're just like, they keep going backwards since 2014, when they were the third fastest car, or second. They were close to Ferrari in 2014. They've just fallen backwards. We saw them battling McLaren, sometimes even like Haas this season. So yeah, I just don't think they just don't really have much about them anymore, to be honest. And their driver line is very weak. They've got it looks like Massa's going to come back when Bottas goes to Mercedes, and then they've got Lance Stroll as well, which I don't highly rate either of them. Massa's a bit past it, and that's been for the last like 5 years, to be honest. And Stroll seems like he's only in it because his dad's a billionaire. So I don't think it'll be a good season for Williams, one to forget probably. And I think they'll be disappointed, because it'll be quite a weak season compared to previous years. Next takes me on to the Renault team, which I think will be a strong year for them. So quite high up in the constructors table, and that's mainly because they've got lots and lots of money, and they've been developing their 2017 car for a long time. So, and they've got a very good driver in Nico Hülkenberg. But the reason I haven't put them above other teams is because of their second driver, of Jolyon Palmer. I have no idea how he's still in F1, to be honest. He's pretty awful. He only got 1 point this year, and he should have got more. Don't know how he kept his seat, and I think that would cost Renault a position higher in the championship compared to others like Force India. So yeah, I think 6th place, I predicted them. It's a good season for him. I reckon it might be the year when they can like grab a podium somewhere with Hulkenberg, hopefully, because I quite like Hulkenberg and I think he's a good driver. But anyway, moving on to the next team, which I think will be Force India, and they've fallen down, so I predicted them to fall down from their 4th place into 5th, but that's quite understandable, I think, because 2014 to 2016 has been quite a engine era, so it's been all about the power and stuff like that, whereas 2017 looks like it's going to be more about the aero. And Force India don't really have the finances. Well, they do, because they finished 4th, but they don't have absolutely tons. They've been developing this season's car for quite a while, so I think they'll just about fall back. It'll still be a good season in 5th. I think they'd take that because they're still an independent team, and 5th place for an independent is pretty amazing. But I think that's all they can really hope for. Perez and Ocon are good, but I think they'll just fall back because it's not about the engine anymore, so their Mercedes power won't carry them to 4th place again. So it'll be alright, but nothing really more than that. And next we get onto the McLaren team, which is quite surprising. I've predicted them this high, but I rate their lineup. Alonso and Van Dorn are probably one of the most exciting lineups on the grid, and they've obviously got all the stuff. They know how to win. It's just about whether they can do it or not, and it's quite a difficult one to predict because, as we've seen in the past, they've been there or thereabouts a lot, and sometimes they're right at the front. Sometimes they have a few bad years, like in 2009, or especially now in 2015 and 16, they've been really near the back. But yeah, McLaren are a difficult one to predict, but I've put them in 4th place. I think it'll be a good year for them. Alonso and Van Dorn are very good, and I think since 2015 started, they've basically thought, scrap the cars, we're going on to 2017, and they've been developing their 2017 car for a very long time. So yeah, I've predicted a 4th place. And 3rd, I move on to Ferrari, who are, they're just there, aren't they? It's pretty bad to be a Ferrari fan, because while they're good, they're not very exciting. Vettel and Raikkonen are good drivers, but they're just always there. They don't really ever look like challenging the top 2. They're always above the midfield, but that's just it really. So Ferrari in 3rd, not really any progress, but not really any falling back. It will just be another average year for them, as we've seen for the last few years. It just won't be very exciting. And then 2nd place, which is getting on to the last 2 of Mercedes and Red Bull. I've predicted Mercedes in 2nd because in the Constructors Championship this is, because I think personally their driver lineup is worse than one of Red Bull, and with the aero, with the change of rules, it will be very close between their car performances, I think. And the reason Red Bull will win the Constructors is because Ricciardo and Verstappen is a better lineup than Hamilton and Bottas, in my opinion. Because people think Rosberg's pretty bad, but he was still easily getting 2nd places. Basically, he's getting 1st or 2nd every week. And I think Mercedes will realise how good Rosberg was when they've got a driver who will probably fall behind the Red Bulls more often than not, and even fall behind the Ferrari sometimes, maybe even some of the midfield. But yeah, so I think it'll be much like the relationship between Hamilton and Kovalainen back in the day. So I think Mercedes will come 2nd in the championship. It'll be very close between car performances, and personally I think Hamilton will win the Drivers' Championship, but Bottas just won't be a great 2nd driver. So that's why I've predicted Mercedes in 2nd place, and that brings me on to the final team, which is Red Bull, obviously, in 1st. And I just think their progress over the last few years, since 2014 when their car was atrocious, they have made great progress every year, and 2017 I think were no different. They've got a very exciting driver lineup, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens between them, because I reckon there'll probably be some tension. If the car is good enough for a title, there'll be a lot of tension between Ricciardo and Verstappen. But yeah, they're probably the most exciting lineup on the grid. I reckon it'll be close between those 2 and Hamilton for the title. I think Hamilton will win it, but Ricciardo and Verstappen will be doing very well. And yeah, I think they'll beat Bottas most weeks. They'll probably get podiums more often than not, and I think they'll win the Constructors' Championship because their car and their team is really good. They know how to win. They've done it 4 years in a row, from 2010 to 2013, and I just see them. I can see them easily doing it again. So yeah, that is my predictions 2017. Leave a comment if you agree with them, or if you disagree with them, whatever. Leave a like if you like the video, and I'll probably do a video at the end of 2017 looking back on these to see how awful they are, because I'm pretty sure they will be. wildly out, and maybe like Manor will beat everyone, which wouldn't surprise me. So yeah, leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more videos about F1, and this has been J183, and I will see you next time.